Greetings from freezing Colorado. This is Scott, the Cowboy Counselor here again, where we pursue our wildest dreams and passions. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on with the deer head sculpture that I started on and posted a video on a few days ago. Now, I went ahead and did a bunch more work on the antlers without filming. Honestly, I just didn't feel like it. I needed to stay focused on what I was doing. So I'm going to showcase now what I got done. So here we are. Okay, here is our deer skull that we are trying to pattern and make a replica out of. And here's what I've come up with. And I'm pretty pleased with it. So for a base, what I did is I went to 2 horseshoes because I decided I want to be able to hang it off a wall and basically turn it into a wall mount, or just have it sitting on a coffee table to make a cool deer head sculpture. So these are the antlers, and it took a lot of work. I don't know why that was so hard to recreate those antlers. I've been blacksmithing for 30 years and making stuff, but I was pretty pleased with my angles and with the realistic look. Now, for this particular antler, I had to use some square stock, and I'll do a little bit more grinding on it. But if you're a beginner blacksmith, one good forging exercise is to take square stock and basically hammer it into round stock. It's just good hammer control, good systemic hammering. And so what I'm gonna do next, I need to start selecting some of my copper pieces, because what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using copper to recreate this skull as close as we can get it. And I'm not real sure how I'm gonna do the eye sockets. I know one thing, even though some of this old deer hair is covering it up, we have those little knobby pieces of antler in there. I've decided I'm gonna use the MIG welder to recreate those on here. So I'm gonna create little droplets of steel around here and try to get this as realistic looking as I can get it. So, had to go and pick up some acetylene today. I was out of gas and air, so I should be ready to go to do some brazing. All right. Okay, I think I'm gonna start in the back and work my way forward. So what I need first is this skull cap. And this is definitely gonna take multiple pieces. So what I've done is I took a piece. Now this copper's already been heated, and that softens it. I mean, obviously it's cold now, and it'll harden back up as I work it. So I put that over the horn of the anvil, and I went ahead and hammered those pieces together. And now I need to go over to the dapping stump and try to round this out a little bit with a mallet. Okay. All right, mostly what I use this stump for, as I've shown in a previous video, is to shape copper on. And I kind of cut the center of this out with a chainsaw, and I've used it to make some copper bowls, but it's good to round some of these pieces and kind of give it that smooth hammered look too. I'm just gonna mark and cut around these antlers. I'm gonna use my pliers, kind of bend this down at the angle I want it. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at my deer head while I work and just imagining how I can make that look as realistic as possible. Okay, so I was worried about how to recreate these little nodules at the base of the antler, and laying in bed last night, all of a sudden it occurred to me to use the MIG welder, so that's what I've done. So I went ahead and built that up with MIG. It's not perfect, but it's not half bad either. It's kind of nice and random, and I think it'll have that nice bony type look that I'm going for. And I have this piece of copper ready to braze on, and I think that'll be my first piece going on. Okay, I had to go inside and take a break for most of the afternoon actually. And I just got kind of chilled out here earlier. Now I'm suited up and I'm ready to go again. I'm ready to braze some of my copper on. So I'm gonna go ahead and light my torch up and get going with that. There we go. Okay, hopefully you can see that all right. I'm just gonna try to tack it on. That's fairly thick steel, so dang it. It's gonna take a minute to get that heated up enough that I can get a spot on there. Okay, this is what we've progressed on to now. So I have the back of the skull cap on, it's brazed on. I went ahead and added a little bit more character to the antlers with the MIG welder. And after I said that I didn't generally have too much trouble brazing copper to steel, then I had nothing but trouble. And yeah, I had to kind of go back and adjust a little bit, but it's stuck on there now. And then the little bit of copper seam that I did is just right there on the back where I folded over, and then ironically that went well. So it may just be that, yeah, I really don't know what I'm talking about. We don't know for sure. We're looking into it. Okay, you can see I've got another piece that's cut and just kind of sitting on there. I'm gonna go ahead and tack that on too. And I decided I'm gonna add the eye socket later. If you can see the eye socket on the deer, it's solid on the inside. So I'm gonna cut an entirely separate piece and add it on and build it up around here to try to make it as realistic as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and braze this on now. Get that good and hot, hopefully without blowing through it. Lay my brazing right on and hopefully just let it flow in there. Okay, I've got that half of the head welded on, and I went ahead and added a patch piece in here just to kind of connect those two. And part of the fun of doing these copper sculptures is cutting little scrap pieces to fit in where you need them, just kind of adding them in. And today, for some reason, I'm not having any trouble brazing copper to copper. I must have learned all my lessons the hard way last time I was trying to make something. And so let me hand around it so you can see. Once again, here's our model that we're working off of. And eventually we want this to look as much like this as what we can possibly get it while still showing the form and function of the steel and the copper and the forging and welding and everything that went into it. I'm pretty pleased with the way my little nodules came out on the antlers. And I'm gonna add some more character to the rest of these. Okay, this is what we have thus far. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and post what I've done today, because it might be about a week before I get back to working on this again. And for anybody that wanted to see the next phase, I guess you can take a look at it there. And really enjoy working on this stuff. I'm also gonna quit before I start getting into a hurry or start getting frustrated or start trying to work too fast. I already burned my finger, so I managed to touch one of my hot welds, which is probably an every time thing for me. But once again, I'm out here doing what I enjoy doing. The time flies when I'm out here cutting and welding and sculpting, and it just really enhances the quality of my life. So I would encourage you, if there's things that you want to try, things that you want to go out and do, just do it. There shouldn't be anything stopping you. And it can be very rewarding, whether it could be this, it could be artwork of another form, it could be music, it could be some sport that you've always wanted to get involved with. But get involved with something and go out and enrich your life. Get away from the screen time, other than watching me, of course. That part is fine. Continue to do that and like and subscribe. But aside from that, get out and do something fun. So once again, this is Scott the Cowboy Counselor, and this is what our deer has progressed onto. If you can picture him coming towards you in the woods, that's what it would look like. And have a great week, and peace and out. Stay warm.